Hi, my name's Sam, I'm the owner of Website Right, and thanks for watching this video where I'm going to tell you how you can speed up WordPress. Now, as great as WordPress is, sometimes it can get a bit clunky. Now, either you've got too many plugins on your website and they're all working or perhaps conflicting against each other. Maybe your server's slow and needs optimizing, or perhaps you've just got so much content on your WordPress site that your database is absolutely huge and just needs optimizing. Either way, in this video there are a series of tips which will help your website go rocket fast. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be using andrewslifeblog.co.uk. It's a website you may have seen before in one of my previous videos. It's one I made for a friend. First thing I would say is make sure that you've streamlined the amount of plugins that you've got. Now, as you can see, this is a very simple website, so it doesn't exactly need many plugins, but what I'm going to do is go to the dashboard and then log in to the plugins section by going to install plugins and seeing what I've got here. Now, it's not an overly extensive list of plugins, to be honest, but there are some things that I know that the website does not use. So we've got an Instagram widget, a Twitter feed widget that we're not using. Also, we've got a couple of sliders here that are also not being used, Slider Revolution and also Layer Slider WP. Now, it's worth deactivating those because then those are not called every time the website is loaded. So I'm going to deactivate those and click apply. Now, if you're not sure which plugins that your website is actually utilizing live on the website, it's worth just disabling them, taking a look at your website, having a good surf around, making sure that nothing's changed, and you might be able to just leave it deactivated. Now, I know in my case that I do not definitely use these plugins, so I am actually going to delete them. So those can be deleted. I'll click apply and then click OK. Now, if you've got a theme which thinks it needs these plugins, like this is Bridge WordPress theme, which I truly recommend, by the way, it's fantastic. I'll put the link in the description for you. It will say this. However, you can ignore this message by clicking dismiss because you do not actually utilize those plugins. So that's the first thing I would say. Go through your plugins and streamline. Step 2 is to add a caching plugin. Now, what caching is it produces static versions of the pages that have been previously visited. I.e., at the moment, if I went to the website and I traversed from page to page, every time I move from page to page, it's consulting the database and bringing up the data. However, caching will just not have to use that database and bring up a static version of the website. So there are a number of plugins that can enable you to do this. So I'll show you them now. So if you go to dashboard and then to plugins and then add new. There are ones W3C fastest cache. We've also got WP super cache, but the one I tend to use is WP fastest cache. That one has got lots of options there, so as soon as we see it, we can just click install and it'll take up to 20 seconds to install, but once it's there, you can just then click activate. Now, once it has activated, you will have a new menu option that appears called WP fastest cache. If you click that, this then gives you all of the options. So the first thing you need to do is click enable. Preloading, you can cache all of the site automatically. I'd recommend you do that. And here you can click the types of pages that you'd like it to cache for. You've also got the option of minifying the HTML. Now, when you actually view the HTML of a page, you will actually see that there's a lot of space in between a lot of the code. So you can minify it by clicking these two, which obviously will make the file size smaller. Same with the CSS too. You've also got the option of combining it too, but it's just worth making sure that once you do submit these options, you go back to the website and just make sure it hasn't messed up the layout of the website. gzip compression is always recommended, as is browser caching too. So there we go. That'll do for now. So we'll click submit. And now let's go back to the website and see how it's looking. Now, from what I can see, there aren't any obvious issues with how things are appearing or not appearing, I'm going to go on to a number of different sections of the website. So the contact page, sports news. Yeah, all of this looks absolutely fine. Brilliant. Okay, so those are our caching options done. Now you'll also notice there was a tab in WP Fastest Cache called Image Optimization 2. Now this is only available in the premium version, but wait for the next tip, as I've got another great idea for you. Tip 3 is to use a plugin called Smush. So let's go to plugins and then to add new, and then we'll find where it is by clicking in the keyword box and typing the word Smush. And here it is, we've got it, Smush Image Compression and Optimization. Now what this will do is take all the existing images on your website and any future images that you upload, and it will compress them. It will retain the quality, but it will certainly make them smaller in file size, because as a web developer, when you hand over websites, you start to realize that people just will upload pictures fresh from their digital camera, and they're huge these days with the high quality resolution that can be taken. Therefore, you don't want that full file size being downloaded when a person visits your page. So having Smush will really help to compress any images that are uploaded. So we've done that right now, and you'll see it's added a link on the left hand side called Smush. So let's just click it. And here you can see at the moment there haven't been any images that have been smushed, but it says that we've got 70 attachments that can be smushed. So these are the images that we've uploaded previously. So we can click bulk smush now. And what it'll do, it will upload, as you've got the free version, it will smush up to 50 at a time. But then you can do it again, and just go through all your images. If you want to get the premium version, you can do a one-click smush that'll do them all at once. So let's just click get started. And you can see that it's slowly going through the images. So it's 4.3% of the way through, but it's going to go through and optimize all these images. And this here on the left will tell you the amount of kilobytes you're saving. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we save possibly up to 3 megabytes. So this is really worth doing. And I'll just hold on now and forward wind and show you what it looks like at the end. So there we go, everything has been smushed, and you can see here, well, look, we've saved 1.9 megabytes. That's 6.4% of the original file sizes. So it's definitely worth doing. That's Smush, make sure you download it. Now, tip 4 is to download a plugin called WP Optimize. Now, you're probably thinking this is a bit ironic, given in the first tip, it was to streamline your plugins. However, stay with me, because this one is excellent. It's called WP Optimize, and when you find it, then you have to use the American spelling with a Z, by the way. There we go. So there it is, WP Optimize, and then click Install Now. And when you use WordPress, you know that there's a number of features that it's got. So if you write a blog post, there's actually a revision history. So it will show all of your previous edits. It will also save data that sometimes it doesn't need to save. So the purpose of WP Optimize is to go through your WordPress database and remove any redundant information that's no longer required. This data is cycled through in order to bring up your pages every time. So you click from page to page, your website consults the database. Now, obviously, the less data there is to go through, the quicker it's going to take to serve your page. So let's go to WP Optimize now and see what it's all about. So these are the options you've got. Now, I would suggest to tick them all. Certainly the black ones. You can also, if you want to, remove the red ones as well. So it optimizes the database tables, it cleans post revisions, auto drafts, gets rid of the trash, removes spam and binned comments, and much more. So I'm going to tick all of them though. And then I'm going to click Run All Selected Optimizations. Now you can see here it's going through and it's getting rid of quite a lot of stuff, including 114 post revisions, 11 posts being removed from the trash, 5 spam comments, and now it's going through the database tables as well and is optimizing them. So there we go, that's gone all the way through, and we've now got an optimized website. Now what you can do if you want to is just remove the plugin and then install it again at a later date, which many people do just to remove the plugin. However, yeah, this is an essential one. WP Optimize. The next thing that we need to be looking at is your hosting company. So that is the server that your physical files, photos, all your media folders, your database, everything is actually stored on. Now, if you're in the UK, it makes sense to have a UK-based hosting company because you don't want to be pulling your site through the Atlantic every single time you access your site. And also, if you're in the US, it makes sense to have a US-based hosting company. Now, we've got two that I particularly recommend. Now, these have been tested to death. I've actually gone through so many different hosting companies. So if you're in the UK, these guys, now I've got a really good offer with these. If you go to websiteright.co.uk/host UK, you'll end up at Crystal. Now, these guys recently took over a company called Smart Hosting, and they've got an incredible optimized WordPress platform that has bespoke in-house caching and dedicated HA private containers. You may not know what that means, but if you sign up with these guys, your WordPress installation will absolutely be rocket fast. Now, if that's a bit too much for your budget, they also have the shared WordPress option as well, which goes from $29.99, but then you've got one at $3.99 a month as well. So it's for all budgets, but the shared one is not managed. But if you do need technical support, just come to me because I'm sure I can help you with that. But if you sign up with any of these and get your WordPress site hosted with these guys, now your website will fly, and as a result, Google will love you, and you can see how many sites they're hosting at the moment. So yeah, if you go to websiteright.co.uk/host UK, you'll end up at Crystal. Now, if you're in America or Canada, then these guys. Go to websiteright.co.uk/host US. That's websiteright.co.uk/host US. And these have got a similar price point at around £3.05 a month. And this again is optimized WordPress hosting. But as you can see, they have got some more tiered options there. I mean, the turbo package, I've got to say, is absolutely brilliant. But I've tested a number of sites on this, and the speeds at what the WordPress site works at, well, it absolutely flies. So depending on where you are, choose the right hosting company for your location. Now, I've put the links in the description below for these two companies. As I say, I'll just repeat: websiteright.co.uk/host UK or websiteright.co.uk/host US. Now, if you're unable to change your hosting company, what you may need to do is contact your existing hosts and get hold of their support department and see what they can do to optimize your server to make it fly for WordPress. So hopefully they can help you. The next tip is to use Cloudflare. Now, Cloudflare have got a WordPress plugins, but it's a great system which helps to accelerate page load speeds, improves the search engine optimization of your site, and also prevents DDoS attacks as well, and also the WordPress specific vulnerabilities that go on. As you can see, there can be a 60% increase in page load speeds for websites that use Cloudflare. If you need more information, I've popped it in the link below, but I've used Cloudflare on a number of occasions. It's very easy to get set up. You do need an account with Cloudflare, so I've popped that there too in the link below, but it's certainly worth checking out because all these things, including your caching plugin and also removing the non-existent plugins that you don't even need, all of this will really help to make your WordPress site run faster. Now, I'm using another website to demonstrate this particular thing. It's called Lazy Load. Now, it especially works on image-heavy websites, and this is a website I developed a number of years ago called The Rope and Anchor, which is a pub in my local area. Now, obviously, on this page, there are loads of images in a gallery, but when you visit the page the first time, all you can see are these top 6 images. So all the rest of them they don't actually need to be loaded until those images enter the image viewport, so around about now. And what a plugin called Lazy Load does is actually just make sure the page loads the images that are in your viewport, i.e. in the window that you can see at any given time. And then obviously when you move up, these images then become available to you and then load as and when. Now there's a plugin that actually organizes this really well for you called BJ Lazy Load. And if you get that installed, that will make your site load faster and save bandwidth too. You may have heard of hotlinking before. If you haven't, well, it's just where you can maybe visit a website and think, oh, that image there looks good, and then basically take the address of the image by doing a right click and then copy image address, and then on your website, you can then just be linking to that image. So you're not actually hosting the image yourself, you're actually just linking to the third-party website. But if your website's being hot-linked to by other websites, they're obviously using your bandwidth. So you don't want that. So there are ways to enable hot linking to your website. Now, if you check the description, I've written a blog post which gives you the code to add to your Htaccess file. Now, your Htaccess is a hidden file that appears in the root of your WordPress installation. And in the tutorial, I'll tell you exactly how you need to edit it and what you need to edit it with. One of the key things that I found in order to improve page loading speed is to make sure your page doesn't have any 404 errors. So you probably know what a 404 error is, but if you don't, if you just type in a random address, you've come to a page not found. Now, the technical code for that is a 404, but it's not just the pages that can report 404s, because obviously this page here is pulling in all sorts of resources in order to make it appear. It's pulling in images, it's pulling in JavaScript files, CSS, and much more besides. So if any of those resources are not there, have been deleted, or have changed their file name, now this will report a 404 error. But the page looks okay here, but how can we see them? Well, here's a way. Just right-click the page and click Inspect. I'm doing this in Google Chrome, but if you click the Console tab, this will list any 404 errors that you've got, and you can see here that there's an image here, logo-andrews-blog-invert, that is actually not available, and it's reporting that it cannot be found. So therefore there's an issue there. So we either need to replace that image, or we need to find where is referencing that image and make sure the reference is gone. So it could be in your WordPress theme, or it could be in your theme files. So you may have to go into your FTP to find where that's referenced and just remove it. But of course, because it's not loading, a 404 on WordPress actually loads the 404 page. So rather than find the CSS file or the image that's not there, it's actually pulling in another 404 page, which is you're basically doubling up on the stuff you're pulling in. So it's really best to eradicate any 404 errors from your website, and using the element inspector in your browser can certainly help that. Now, once you've actioned all of these changes, the way to test how effective they've been is by going to a website called Pingdom, specifically tools.pingdom.com, where you can actually see the speed of your website and see what ways you can improve it. Now, you should start by clicking a server that's near you and then typing in your web address in the box provided, and then just hit the Start Test button. Now, sometimes you may get put into a queue because the service is quite popular, but once it has started, the wheels rolling, it'll say, hang on, running test, and then you can see the results down below and see the load time of your website, the performance grade, and the page size. Now, I've probably done about 50% of the things that I mentioned on the video so far, so I haven't done the CDN. So that is one thing that I can concentrate on. If I did that, I reckon we'd be up to A grade there. But there's a number of other things that we can do as well. So it's worth doing that before and after you make the changes, and just compare your performance grade and see how well your website's improved. So thanks very much for watching my video. If you found it helpful, let me know in the comments below, because I want to know how quickly your website is now performing after you've made those changes. If you like this video, hit a like, and do feel free to subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell as well so you can be informed on when I next produce a video. Many thanks.